Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brittany Kaiser.
And I'm Ms. Art.
We are teaching a class structured our lesson dealing with political cartoons. Our class in grade level is 12th grade and it consists of about 30 students. When it comes to today's lesson, what it's dealing with is analyzing political cartoons. This week in this class, we've talked about various political parties and various political factions and things that make them unique. One of the big things that has an impact on political views and ideas are political cartoons.
So first off, look at these two images. What comes to mind when you see these images? What do they represent? Do these images help you know what to expect when you see them? For example, when you see this signal, what do you automatically see on the think of the side of the road? What does it represent? Same with this one.
Right? Analyzing political cartoons. What is a political cartoon? A political cartoon can be a drawing, or sometimes consisting of words which conveys an idea or a message. If something conveys, that means it's sending a message or an idea. Now, typically when it comes to political cartoons, some can be in black and white, but some can be in color. When it comes to these graphics, what they do is they typically pull the eye or the attention of the reader, okay? When it comes to political cartoons, there are various characteristics that describe it. One of the key things that political cartoons do, or what they use, are various things from literature, all right, which include exaggeration, irony, other ones. One of the first type of themes or ideas or characteristics that it contains is symbolism, okay? When it comes to cartoonists, they use simple objects or symbols to stand for larger concepts or ideas. When you think of symbols, you usually associate it with something else. For example, if I were to pull out a picture of a dove, if you see a white dove, one of the first things that comes to mind might be peace, tranquility. If you saw a rose, the thing that would come to mind would be love. This is something that political cartoonists use to grasp the attention of the viewer. Another characteristic is labeling. When it comes to labeling, they use objects or people to make it clearly exactly what they stand for. When it comes to labeling in cartoons, typically they identify a particular person, subject, or an object.
Yeah. Analogy. Political cartoons use analogies a lot. Analogy is a comparison between two unlike things that share the same characteristics. When you're looking at a cartoon, you need to consider, is it using an analogy and why is it using one? An example of an analogy would be, I know one y'all use a lot, is my house is like a prison. Your house is not really like a prison, but sometimes you feel like it because you can't do what you want to do, you can't leave when you want to leave. So just look for analogies, see why they're using it and how it's used. Pay close attention to that. Another one is irony. Irony is the difference between the way things are and the way things should be, or the way things are expected to be. A good example of that is the biggest dog I know, its name is Tiny. That's irony because it shouldn't be. Look for irony. They use irony as sometimes to represent things or to help you understand a concept better, or just as witty humor to get you to laugh or pay attention to the concept.
All right, this is what we're going to do for our activity. Students will be placed together in a group. Students will be passed out a student or a cartoon analysis worksheet. Students will analyze various cartoons together and they will record their responses on this analysis worksheet. But before we break down in groups, there's some things to keep in mind as you are working with your partners. Remember, everyone listens to directions. Everyone participates in activities and discussions. Respect others' opinions and inputs. And everyone keep record of discussion and information. So please be privy or please be aware to these group rules. All right, ladies and gentlemen, everyone should have received their student analysis or the cartoon analysis worksheet. In front of you, you should have the following political cartoon. All right. Now, when you see this cartoon, what first comes to mind or what first sticks out? Everyone might be familiar, they might say, that is President Trump. All right. And for looking at the picture, he is seeming to do what? Cut down the tree.
That says big government on it.
Now, recalling back from the information we dealt with this week, there is an animal. What animal is this being portrayed?
A donkey.
All right. The donkey is associated with what political party?
Democratic.
With it being associated with the Democratic Party, what message is this probably referring to? When it comes to President Trump, he is currently dealing with the following. If you look at the back of your reading, or the back of your political cartoon, You can read the following passage. Lastly, the Trump administration outlined its first federal budget. The $1.1 trillion proposal made severe cuts to many government agencies, including the EPA and the Department of Education. Trump's budget includes more spending in some areas, including for the Department of Homeland Security and the military. Democrats have historically favored increase in government spending to provide safety nets for Americans, sometimes called big government. While Republicans tend to favor smaller government because they believe it's more efficient and less of a burden on taxpayers. So let's look at the following questions and I guess just answer them together before we get started on the analysis. So question number 1 asks you, what does the tree represent and why is President Trump cutting it with a saw? Once students have finished completing the following, which is not document, which is, I guess you could say, political cartoon 1, we work with them and model and do it together, and then we'll set them on their own, and then we could complete 3 more political cartoons using the political analysis worksheet.
And after that, we would discuss as a group, because each group will have different political cartoons. They're not all having the same. So you might say pick one from each group and discuss it. And they're all an array of topics from government to economics to social issues. And we would have a group discussion about the different types, what they saw, maybe the labeling was different in one than the other, maybe one used already here and this one didn't. So we would discuss the different parts of their political cartoons and what they mean and how they think it could affect an election or affect what the people view.
Right. Or what's the big topic of issue going on.
We might discuss the time frame that it came from and go off that.
But when it comes to the whole entire activity, there's a day 2 part to it. The next day after, students will work together and actually create their own political cartoon. And when we say political cartoon, like we said, it doesn't have to be about politics. It can be about social issues. It can just be about things that affect them. For example, I saw online somebody had made a political cartoon in reference to movie theaters and cell phones. That is something that applies to this demographic or this age group. So,
there's one that talks about the radio and how it's so censored now, or like how it needs to be more censored. So they can pick something that they really are into or that they want, or something that's a big topic in school now. So.
That is our lesson. Thank you.
Thank you.